Now, so you can go on and on and on. Actually, all sectors have been infested by this dangerous behavior of corruption, and it has become almost normal. There is also what we call this where we measure corruption worldwide countries, and we have not been doing well for so many years. We almost remain at about 26%. I mean 26 out of 100. And if your child scores 26, brings you back a report with 26, you know what it is.
Yeah,
it is
total
bad.
failure. Yeah.
So that is how bad corruption is. I do not know any sector in Uganda which is not infested with corruption.
Okay.
Yes.
Can we talk about the recent parliament issues, the service awards that were given out? Recently during the weekend, we saw Honorable Akamprira, who was among the commissioners, that for her, what she did, she used her money, the 400 million, that she used that money for to empower the women in her district, which is Rwanda district. I don't know, is that matter being investigated as a corruption scandal, or is being dealt on in other grounds?
I would think there's an investigation which is going on, and as such, normally we don't speak on investigations, ongoing investigations. I think it suffices to note that there is an investigation going on, but just to say, I mean, you cannot steal money and said you use it for a right purpose. It's not anywhere in the law. It's not provided for. If she has stolen the money, if she has got the money corruptly, the law will deal with her when the investigation is completed.
Okay. So what measures is the IGG using to combat corruption in the country?
Yeah, of course, the mandate of IG is broad. We actually have about 3 main mandates, plus the 4th one, which is where I'm actually heading. But the key mandate of the IG is one, the ombudsman mandate, which actually, if you look at the law, is the first one on top. And that is supposed to ensure there is a proper service delivery, public service delivery. And in that case, we actually look into grievances, which actually happens when somebody is delivering service. Grievances between the duty bearers, the employees, because you know if the employees are not working together, they cannot deliver. So we actually can receive complaints, grievances of our employee, and if this internal system has failed to sort it out, we actually come in to mediate and actually make sure there's a win-win situation. The second one, which many people know us about, is the anti-corruption function, where we actually can receive, or you can even initiate an investigations, investigate it, and then if there are issues of criminal nature, we can prosecute, or sometimes we make directions where somebody has to improve. And the third one is about the leadership code, which is people know it as a law which requires again public officers and leaders to periodically declare their income, assets, and liability to the inspector of government. But it's not just about that declaration. Of course, the declaration we also try to validate, and there are penalties if you actually give us false information or you don't give us information. There are penalties for that. But the law is more on the behavior of the public officials. Okay. There's certain behavior which is not expected of public officials. For instance, you're expected to be on duty from 8 to 5. Okay, you are supposed to be there. So if somebody starts coming at 10, 11, you can actually be reported to the IG, and we handle you in accordance with that law, and we take you to prosecute in the leadership court tribunal, and you can be penalized heavily. So those are the key main. The fourth one, which I said, is actually education and advocacy.
Yes.
And that's why I'm here. Yes. So those are the key mandate of the Inspector of Government, and really we work very hard. We work very hard in all the sectors. Like for me, I've just been out last week. I've been touring the Lao sub-region. I went to the district of Oyam, I went to district of Kole, I went to district of Dokulo, actually meeting stakeholders, various stakeholders, and telling them that people need to join the fight against corruption. It is provided for in the Constitutional Republic of Uganda that one, under national objectives, that one, every public officials hold office in trust for the public. We are actually there because the public has given us work to do.
Yes.
And that we are responsible to and accountable to the people. We must fight corruption with all our best to fight corruption. Now, these are responsibility given to duty bearers. But also the same constitution gave a responsibility to the citizens under Article 17, which says all citizens must combat corruption and fight abuse of government properties or office. And we are doing this because many times people think the fight against corruption is a responsibility of the IG. And that is why we have not moved for long. So now we have actually gone out to sensitize and create awareness that the responsibility of fighting corruption in this country rests on each and every person in this country. Whether you are a citizen or you are not a citizen of this country, so long as you are in this country, the responsibility of fighting corruption rests on you. And it starts with you. Before you look elsewhere, what are you doing? And this is what we have gone out to engage, mobilize, mainly the citizens. And the citizens are the key victims. The key victims. The other message we are trying to give is that actually nobody wins in the corruption war. You may try to be corrupt, but you see, you cannot get all the services which you need yourself. So you run somewhere, you steal government money, now you have to take your child to school. You are going to pay heavily because somebody is corrupt there. You have to go to a health center, you are going to pay heavily because somebody is corrupt there. You have to go travel on the road, you have to pay heavily, even if you have a car, the cost of repairing car, because the road, somebody has stolen the money. So at the end of the day, what you steal, you actually spend it all out. And most time you remain with even less or negative. So nobody wins in the fights against corruption. Yeah, the impacts differs a little bit, but nobody actually wins in the fight against corruption.
So while growing up, I remember there were so many lessons about corruption in school, in young children and all that. Is it one way as well to sensitize majorly these ones who are growing up? Is it part of the measures?
True. That is one of the measures which we are looking into, and we have actually started. We have something we call integrity clubs, where we go to schools and actually set up this club and assist these people to understand the corruption, to know that corruption is bad, is evil, and then they should actually support first sensitization of people, and then also themselves not growing up with that. But also we have been running something in conjunction with the National Debating Council, where there are competitions of students, and these are virtual. About 2-3 weeks ago, we had the final award, which happens here, and we do this in conjunction with our partners, PPDA or Auditor General, and sponsored by GIZ. And many students do participate in these competitions. Essays, writing, poems, and some arts and the rest, and they are awarded. It's actually picking up a lot. It's something which many parents, fortunately, the parents are helping the students to participate. That means the parents also getting the information, because it is virtual. You don't bring them, they actually record whatever they're doing and then submit, and they are marked. And at the end, the best students are actually invited to come to Kampala here, and they get various awards. It is something which many students are participating across the country. Yeah.
So are we yielding good results when it comes to ending corruption, and what is the improvement anyway? Because is it annually we lose 10 trillion? Is there a slight decrease, or we are increasing?
I wouldn't say that we are improving or not, but one good thing is there are many people who are realizing that corruption is the main reason for our suffering, for the poverty, for the poor service delivery.
Okay.
And people are picking up. The youth are picking up. Fortunately, technology has come to help us. Like I said, we are using technology to reach out to the youth. But you remember the campaign of the potholes in Kampala, a lot of technologies and youth. You remember the campaign about the Entebbe airport, and also technology came in. So we are trying to use this technology and to reach out a lot to the people. And there's at least big awareness. Even where I've been going in up countries, people are aware about the corruption, say the issues in parliament. People are very aware about it. And so that is the beginning. And I think there is hope. Now that people are aware about it and if people don't like it, I think we are about to solve the problem. Yes.
Okay. So I remember I was interviewing Reverend Jasper some time back. He said, for every pothole you see, there is someone who has eaten that stomach. He brought it to that understanding. But now I want to see the contributions from the public. How can the public be involved in this? And are there any maybe platforms where they can report to that this and this is happening?
Of course, we have set up a call center in that Inspector of Government, and it is new, but it's something which we think will help a lot for the people to report. The number is 0800 111 666 and 0800 111 777. These are toll-free line, and people are available to take calls whenever somebody wants to report anything. But like I said, we are in the technology age. Most of the people have smartphones, have phones, and record. You may not even reach IG, but if you pick a matter and record it and post it in social media, definitely will actually be picked by the office. So you don't need to know the number I've told you. It is good if you know, but do something about it. You report it somewhere on a platform somewhere, and definitely it will reach us. But we have offices across the country, 16 regional offices, and then we have also Kampala head office. All these can be used. We have the email which somebody can reach us. igg.go.ug is our mail address. One can also reach us on that.
Okay. I know you've hit a little bit about it, but I want you to tell us the efforts that have been put forward to educate the masses, majorly the public, about the detrimental effects of corruption and maybe the importance of integrity.
Well, it's what I was saying, that IG, in the past, we had been emphasizing a lot on the anti-corruption functions of the IG. But we have since realized that the biggest impact, the people who bear the biggest burden are the citizens, but the citizens are not aware about their roles, of what they need to do to fight this corruption. They actually, many of them do not even attribute the problem they have, the poverty they have, the poor service delivery to actually corruption. People think corruption is about stealing money, but corruption is more than stealing money. There are so many of this corrupt behavior which does not handle money at all. For instance, absence from office. It's not about money. You have been paid to be in office, serve from 8 to 5, but you come from 10 and you leave at 3. Okay, you have already cheated the public a lot of hours, and the public pays you for that. There are nepotisms. There are issues of procurement issues. Okay, they may not actually be about money. So we have gone out to really talk this. So we have enhanced our awareness activities, and that's why we have been moving all around. We have barazas, we have TV talk shows, we have radio talk shows. We are going to go into mobilize the community to start also competitions, some of the competitions, the artists on this. We have, there's something which we are also doing, and which gained a lot of popularity when we tried under projects, specific government projects, where we come in at the time of design of a project, we ask the questions. You want to implement this project. What are the safeguards against corruption in this project? So we build it in the project, and when it is built in, these systems with the strategy we use includes the participations of the citizens. Then for the citizen to participate properly, they must be aware. So you must first train the community to be aware about the modalities of implementing the programs, and then give them the role of actually oversight. Okay. So that if there is a problem, they know where to report. They can come in certain problem, others they report to other people. The linkage between the citizens, the civil society, and the project implementer and the office of the IG. And it has worked so well to the extent that this strategy, which we call TAC, Transparency, Accountability, and Anti-Corruption, or Strengthening Transparency, Accountability, and Anti-Corruption, TAC, it was actually now introduced in the National Development Plan. Okay. And we are trying to roll it out to all government programs, that it has this component which should be funded. And that component dictates that citizens must get involved in providing oversight to a government project. So this is the awareness which we are trying to do, to actually roll out to all government, all citizens in this country. Okay. Mass mobilization of citizens to actually shun corruption, but not only to shun it, but also to report. You see, IG has a lot of power. We have powers provided for. The problem which we have been having is lack of information. Okay. The willingness of the citizens to come out and actually give information. And this is what we are telling that. Please give information so that we resolve this, so that you get better service delivery from the taxes which we pay. Because government gets money from taxes, and they are the one paying the taxes. We all pay taxes. Okay. So if you pay taxes with the aim of getting a particular service, and somebody is in office, that person in office, you are also paying him. Actually, you are the boss. You are the boss of all public servants. The citizens are the bosses. But what is happening in people's mind is the other way around. The person in office is the boss. So we are trying to open their eyes and say, no, you are the boss. The boss. Yes, you must demand accountability from that person. You recruited that person, you are paying that person, so the person should actually do what? I normally give example here in Kampala. We most of the working class have housemates. Okay? So we set the terms and conditions for this housemate, and we pay them. But you don't go home and they turn around, they are your boss. They dictate what to cook, how to clean, and no. They remain the housemates. So we have also recruited public officers, politicians, and also technical people. And we are paying them for going to serve us. They cannot be our bosses. We are their bosses. So we must demand accountability from them. If something is not right, we ask why. And if we are not satisfied, we have all the powers. Okay. And by the way, not everybody can be arrested. There's one thing very good in our constitution. Every 5 years, we are going for election. Every 5 years, we go for election. If you know somebody has escaped the criminal aspect, when it comes to that 5 years, don't take him back. Okay. Don't take him back. Don't vote him. Try another person. So that if we all act that way, we shall actually end up eradicating, leaving out the corrupt people. By the way, we may be having about 500,000 Ugandans workers. Very many of them are good people. There are very few people who are bad. My boss always says maybe about 10%, maybe that 50,000 Ugandans are the ones who are corrupt. And they are making 45 million Ugandans to suffer. To suffer, sure. That is not acceptable. We should all rise up and say no corruption. We know the corrupt person, when they steal money, they don't throw it away. They use it. They use it. And when they're using it, there's a citizen who have seen that this guy is building a house. He works for government. This guy bought a new car. This guy has organized a very expensive wedding. This guy is going for a trip outside recreation. Where is he getting money? If we start reporting such people to IG, then the IG will actually go and do the investigations, and when we find that he cannot explain his wealth, we'll take action according to the law against them.
Wow.
Yeah. So the problem is the people need to come out to give information to the IG.
Okay, that's what I wanted to ask. How is the public responding to this?
Definitely, people are reporting. People are reporting. We keep having so many complaints, and particularly with this awareness, many people are actually reporting. But even the technical people are watching out, because now that people are complaining, they now start knowing that they are in danger. So they are also checking their steps. They are also checking their steps, and I think if this continues, sustainable for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, the level of corruption will reduce in this country.
Wow. Very important. We have been having so many reports that members of parliament are on the run because of what has been happening at parliament. But anyway, those are reports. It's not confirmed information. We are going in for a very short break and return with more discussions regarding the state or the scope of corruption here in the country Uganda.
Issues at hand, powered by
Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe. Comfort and luxury at its best.
When people die, they are good. A dead body is always good. He has done us good. We cannot replace him. There's no one who is repressible. There's no one. But what can help you? It is to leave a good legacy that people will remember you.
Sometimes I share with my students a small story of an animal which normally is regarded to be the wisest, the hare. Once in a meeting of animals chaired by the lion, which was the king of the animals, he said that all those who are in the meeting and are not married should go out. This is for the marrieds. And then the hare put up a hand. I have a question, Mr. Chairman. Yes. What is it? He said, what about some of us who sleep like married people? Should we also go?
And may I say to those of you who are not yet married, determine what kind of family you want to raise. Because the family that you raise, the children that you get, you will either sink them or you will raise them up to be good citizens and good people in the church.
If you read Proverbs 16:1, they tell you that the plans of the heart belong to man, but the answer of the tongue is from the Lord.
Because we all need love. As long as we are humans, we need love. Now he says yes, but I'm praying that you will experience the greater love.
Lord, when you are sealed in the Lord, the devil looks at you and you are glittering. The devil locates a crown. For any person that the devil locates with a crown, the devil will never eat them because they belong to the Most High.
Friends, don't you give up in any form of hardship. Don't you give up, for Jesus encourages us and says, even at the point of losing your life, for the sake of Christ and the gospel, it is okay.
My dear brothers and sisters, let us remember that God is still reigning on his throne in heaven above. And let us trust in him. Let us rely on him. Let us pray each and every time. Let us not give up on showing ourselves out into the world that the Lord Jesus Christ is still King and he still reigns.
You and I are here to reign on the earth, not to complain, not to grumble, not to play victim, not to quarrel, but to reign on the earth.
I pray, Father, that you will release the fourth man to destroy every fire, to protect your people who are in every furnace and set them free in the name of Jesus.
This is Church of Uganda Family TV, enriching lives. Issues at hand, powered by
Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe. Comfort and luxury at its best.
Welcome back. You are still watching Issues at Hand. It is sponsored or powered by Protea Hotel by Marriott in Entebbe. Very wonderful place you'd want to go to. The numbers are just there below the screens. You can contact them and surely get yourself good services from Protea Hotel by Marriott in Entebbe. We are discussing the scope of corruption in Uganda, and here with me is Mr. James is taking us through what it needs. He's the Director of Research, Education and Advocacy at the Inspectorate of Government. So now we have discussed the number of issues, but now I want to understand what the obstacles and challenges could be, because just like you said, corruption is a wide scope, is widespread, it is diverse. So, and there could be numerous challenges hindering the IGG to initiate or to do its work. What could be these challenges or obstacles?
I think the biggest obstacle for us to really successfully fight corruption has been the misunderstanding of the public, thinking this fight is for IG alone. That has been the biggest obstacle. Of course, one would say, do you have enough resources? The answer may be yes or no. We are not very many technical staff, possibly about 200, which is really quite few. If you compare now, we have districts which are about over almost 150, 160 districts.
Yes.
So it's almost like one staff per district. We would not have even allocated to ministries.
Wow.
So definitely we are few. But like His Excellency told us recently, so you see, Jesus Christ started his Christianity and was just in Nazareth and Jerusalem alone. And he had only 12 people. And today, Christianity is spread almost throughout the world.
Wow.
Even the few resources you have can actually make a difference. So we are trying to use the best resources, the resources we use to get maximum output out of that.
Okay.
But in doing so, that's why we have said, let's bring the citizens at least to be our eyes to see where we are not there, and then they inform us. The other problem is also, IG has been really pure box manual. A lot of things we do manually. In these days of technology, a lot of things are now in machines, computers. So if we could actually digitalize ourselves, our procedures, we would be able to do more, and that's what we are now trying to do. In the next 5 years or so, we are actually planning to move IG to 100% digitalized institutions, so that we are able to increase our turnover, our efficiency by leveraging on technology. Of course, we do investigations. For instance, we have to go to other systems. Government system goes to court, and our court systems, the legal regimes we have, requires us to have proof beyond reasonable doubt. Even when you know somebody has stolen, you see that it is our duty to prove beyond reasonable doubt. To prove a case in court, you need evidence, and evidence are brought by witnesses. And many times people shy away to provide this evidence, and that is a big problem in proving cases. Then there is collusions, and most of this corruption these days is not an individual or one or two. It is a systems, like what we are talking of in Parliament. Now, if it is already in the budget, somebody there will just go and tick. This money has been approved in the budget, it was for this. So everybody, if it is starting from Minister of Finance down up to the implementing person, they all collude. And it will become difficult to find somebody who will come and give you evidence
Yes.
against the what that there has been corruption, and therefore it makes it impossible for an investigator or more difficult for an investigator to make a breakthrough. So that is also another challenge which you have. But fortunately, the court system is also improving. The anti-corruption court, when it came in, it has actually improved a lot. We used to have cases over delaying. I remember there was a case which I personally headed the investigation electoral commission around 2001-2 there. After 2014, the case was still in court. There were already 2 people who had testified. And it was so disappointing. At the end of the day, actually, that case was just left like that, and it died. But these days, I'm glad the anti-corruption court is there. It is actually faster. Although, there's so many cases of corruption, and they're becoming overwhelmed. But I think, and then, of course, there is also this which the public doesn't want to hear so much about it, because public expect every corrupt person to be arrested, prosecuted, and jailed. Sometimes because of the numbers and the rest, you look for other alternative way, dispute resolutions, which helps to make it faster, but of course it's something which the public still needs to be educated with. That is one way of actually handling corruption matter. Okay, we can actually sit down, discuss, recover the money, chase the person from the job, and maybe even make him pay some fines if it's possible. That would save the time, save the resources to investigate another case. So those are some of the challenges which are being done. There's challenges of a witness, there are challenges also in courts, and there are challenges of resources which we have in this institution. It is really limited.
And how do you go about political interferences, majorly from big players in politics? Because apparently, yes, you're talking about the public wanting people to be persecuted and all those things. We have seen people being held in jail, ministers and all that, but the next day they are being called as chief guests on some events. How does this work? And yet you also talk about if they can also leave the positions they have.
You see, okay, first, I headed investigation and inspector of government for 14 years as the director in charge of investigations. And I can tell you from that time when I was heading, these things which people call political interference, I never experienced.
Oh.
No, I didn't.
Wow.
And I arrested big people. Vice president of this country, I headed did the investigation, arrested him and took him to the Zera. I also arrested another big person in the army,
a big one.
A general in the army. So these things called political interference. Sometimes it's in people's mind. The way I know, particularly our president, he wants to take actions based on evidence, and then for good reasons, really. You know, the line of politics, there is also politics is a data game. People can also bring information which is not true against another person, and therefore you can only act when you have evidence. The biggest problem why some of these fellows go free is because there is lack of evidence against them. And the lack of evidence is because the other citizens who knows the truth are not coming out to provide the information. So I would actually encourage everybody to bring the evidence so that actions are taken. A moment you bring evidence, even if it's as big as who, with the exception of the president, which the constitution does not allow us or anybody else to investigate or prosecute, the rest can be prosecuted. What we need is evidence. Provide the evidence. And many times the people working under these people are the one who end up being prosecuted, because they're the one who make requisitions for money, they're the one who sign for the money when it comes. So when an investigator goes and finds out who requested for the money, James Penyui. Who signed for the money, James Penyui. But we hear the boss took the money. Is there evidence that James Penyui you gave to the boss? No evidence. So you cannot take the boss. You all have to take James Penyui to court. And that is one of the biggest challenges which we have. But stopping somebody and say this is because this is a politician, this is my supporter. Don't. I've never had, in my experience of IGG, I've been in IGG for quite some time. You can see my hair is almost gone. I've been in IGG since 99. And wow. I've been a director since 2004. I've not had anybody from anywhere else coming and say, IGG don't investigate. On the contrary, we get so many complaints from the bosses, like the president. Many complaints, including even the classified places, security personnel, and say, IGG, go and investigate, tell me. And we do investigate and give it to him. So I don't think, really, that political interference is what people have in mind. In reality, if there's evidence against anybody, I've not seen anybody being stopped from being prosecuted.
Okay. Yeah. So in the fight against corruption in Uganda, are you having collaborations maybe with organizations or civil society organizations and all that? Or partnerships?
Yes, we have a very strong partnership in the accountability sector, which PPDA, with Auditor Generals, and with other people. Under the Director of Ethics, we have over 30-something institutions and agencies and CSOs where we come together often regularly to discuss issues of corruption and strategize together. Okay. But also on the international, we have other institutions we collaborate with. Within the East African community, we have the Anti-Corruption Association, East African Anti-Corruption Association, which is there. It's called IACA. Okay. East African Association Anti-Corruption Authorities or something of that nature. But also Africa, we also have another associations, but worldwide we also have ANCAC, which is brings all together everybody. These associations are very important. Apart from the sharing experience and lesson learned, we also help us, particularly when corruption, there's a trans-border corruption. For instance, when there's issues which happens in Kenya and somebody has transferred a set in Uganda here, they can easily call us and say, we are following this matter. Okay. So we open a file from this side and also follow it from this side, and then share this information. So it helps us to deal with trans-border crimes on corruptions. Okay. There is also another association which deals with assets recovery. It's becoming very, very popular. So assets which are transferred across, we can actually use this to actually identify the assets. After you get identifying the asset, then we go through the legal process, which is called mutual legal assistance, to actually recover those assets from a foreign country. Yeah, that is a little bit elaborate process, legal process, but these associations help us to reduce the bureaucracy. Yeah, to identify something, make sure it is safe, it is not disposed of, then you follow the longer process of making legal assistance to actually recover from that side or get evidence from the other country. Yeah.
Okay, as we continue striving to see corruption cut down in the country, what are some of the strategic plans you have for the future? Maybe for a few years, by this we are planning to do this and this, and we hope to have such and such results.
One is, as IG, like I said before, we want to decentralize, to make each and every process in IG digital. And we want to be connected to the government processing systems, so that I can sit in my office and be able to look at transactions which is happening in Ministry of Water. I can sit in my office and be able to look at transactions happening in Kabale in district local government without having to move there. Of course, it's a lot of investment which is required, but also a lot of government policy and system to make sure that IG is able to see all this. So we think that would be a big resource to IG if it is successful. Okay. I know government has started putting money, even in the next budget, this financial year, there's money allocated for IG to start that journey. But it's going to be over a period of maybe 10 years to reach actually 100%. Okay. And that will also assist us also to reach out to all citizens of the country in advocacy, okay, and awareness creations. where I would actually be able now to treat, and then so many Ugandans would be able to get this.
Okay.
Of course, we are training our staff to empower them, give them more knowledge and skills on how to deal with issues of corruption. But we shall continue to work and get more people to collaborate with the civil society organizations and even ministry, department, agencies. You make them to work with you.
Yes.
That project which I talk of, that START strategy, it worked well because the people who initially didn't want us realized that we were actually a big resource, and we were making the project performance to improve. So they started actually being closer to us. Whenever there's a problem, they will call us. Actually, one of the persons said he used not to sleep. He used to have a lot of pressure. But when he brought IGG in, he could now sleep because it is IGG which is actually providing oversight on a day-to-day basis. Whatever is happening, he can refer it to IGG and things would be straightened.
Okay.
So we want to make everybody to work with everybody to improve performance. We don't like arresting people. No, we don't want to arrest people. We want people to talk people out of that bad systems, and people start delivering service the way it is expected to the best of their ability.
Okay.
That is, to me, I think, the future of the IG, where we want to go.
You did talk about training your workers, the ones you work with in this regard. How are you evolving or adapting to the trends now? Because we're headed to digital. So corruption is weight, just like you said. So how are you adapting to the evolving world as well?
Of course, it's a challenge. It's a challenge, but and it requires a lot of money. But we also have friends who come around and help us. We have partners who come around to help us here and there. One of them is there's a Commonwealth Secretariat on Governance. They have a training school in Zimbabwe, and we make use of that resource to train our staff. But locally here, we also continue to arrange training for our staff.
Okay.
Yes, we continue. But we also encourage the staff to read. Most of the things are now on internet. You don't have you just Google and you find yourself and read and learn. That's what we are. We hope when our new building is finished, we shall have all these facilities in house. A lot of libraries for where people can actually go in and study. And that would improve our performance.
Okay.
Yes.
So your call to action, what message are you sending to all citizens in the country in regards to fighting corruption?
The most important information here is fighting corruption. Start with me and you. It starts with you and me. It is our responsibility. If we want better service in this country, we must say no to corruption. Don't look at somebody else. Why would you be asked to pay a bribe to a traffic police officer and you know this is wrong, this is corruption? Then you go out and start complaining to IGG, these traffic police officers are corrupt. You are the one who paid your money. You better say, no, we are not going to pay you money. That is corruption. If there's a problem, let me correct the problem. Okay? If it is helmet, go and buy helmet, and please follow the law. These laws which are put in place, the traffic laws, for instance, is to guide you, to guide you. It's for your own benefit. It's for the benefit of everybody using the road. So don't think that by bribing the police you are helping, because you bribe the police that 1,000 shillings, you go and get accident, and you need about maybe 5 million shillings to treat yourself. So that becomes a total loss. You may not even have that 5 million shillings to treat yourself, and you end up losing your life. We are spending a lot of money because there is corruption. A lot of money to treat, particularly better people, road accident, because of corruption on the road. If we remove the corruption, we will not have the accident, and therefore we will save that money, and we use that money to treat other diseases. It will be a plus for everybody in the country. If our teachers are teaching, the children will learn, eventually they will get jobs. we will not have these people on the street, which is actually the iron bars and the rest. These are people who did not study, who cannot get a job, who cannot create jobs. But because there is a problem in service labor in the schools, we're ending up with very many wrong people on the street around us. So corruption actually is impacting each and everybody. There's nobody who doesn't feel the impact of corruption. There's no winner, and we are all losers. So we must stop it and change and actually do what? Says, I will not be corrupt, and when I see a corrupt person, I will report it and make sure action is taken. For us in the IGG, we actually want to say, any cases brought to us, we shall take action on them and strictly adhere to the law, the way the law says we should do. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. James Onying Penyui, who is the Director of Research, Education and Advocacy at the Inspectorate of Government, giving us insights on the scope of corruption in the country, but also on how we can end it, because it is not only their mandate, it is not only them who are supposed to fight corruption, but you and I are all involved in this case. Otherwise, because just as you said, no one is the winner. All of us, if corruption happens, if a scandal happens, all of us are liable to the effects. So it is very important that you and I be part of this fight and have corruption eradicated out of our country here in Uganda. And just a reminder, annually we lose 10 trillion. And what is your budget? Currently we are at 72, meaning we shall be operating on only 63, because the 10 will have been taken by people who take them for their own benefits. Anyway, this is an important discussion, and we would wish that you really take up the message that has been brought in here by Mr. James. I want to appreciate you. My name is Luke Majumba Lenaitwe, and we've been powered by Protea Hotel by Marriott in Entebbe. The numbers are just down there below. Please contact them and make sure you have good services when it comes to hotel services, not corrupted hotel services. So please make sure you reach out to Protea Hotel by Marriott in Entebbe. I want to wish you a lovely day. Please stay on. There are many more programs coming up.
Issues at Hand, powered by
Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe. Comfort and luxury at its best.